Yes, people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve MCFC. It's the big one. It's Derby Day, yeah? We've got two great guests tonight. We've got at MCFC lads. Luke, how are you doing, pal?
I'm good, thanks, Steve. Cheers for getting me on again.
No worries, mate. And we've got a great friend of mine. We've had to disinfect the room. We've sprayed it with air freshener. He's from the red side of Manchester. Everybody knows him. At Saeed TV. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Good to be here, man. I thought you were just going to show that. You see how you put the little bit of badge in the background? You know what I mean? It just shows you, man. You got a soft spot for United. I can see the badge just creeping out the room, man.
It's gone. I've seen too much of you this week. Anyone that's not watched Big Steve and Saeed's Derby Day preview, it's just shown live on Saeed TV. Me and Saeed walking around the Etihad and that. It was mad. It was mad. Not scripted. Just go with it. Don't we? Every time, man. It's proper, man. It's proper. Look at that.
It was good, man. It was good, man.
Tapping Tobe is in the chat. Yeah. Let's see what he's saying. I'll pay Steve £100 to stop saying it. Listen, Tobe, your track record with fruity sayings like that is not good for you. No wonder you want to pay me £100 to stop saying it, because I think you liked it. You liked it, innit, Saeed? You liked it.
Steve, I'd pay £1,000
too early.
Butcher phrase. That butcher
yeah, exactly,
phrase
Luke. The butcher phrase. He will pay you £1,000 to stop using the butcher phrase. Yeah.
Listen, man, the butcher's here, man. He's coming to get Haaland, mate. I'm telling you. It makes sense, though, innit? You said the meat shields, right? And then the butcher, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you. If somehow the butcher managed to kind of pocket Haaland, man, I'm telling you, I'm going into the butchers and I'm going to say, is Haaland on the menu today? Is he on the menu? Is he been found?
You can't cut through a robot, though. You can't get through that metal, can you? That's the problem.
It's an Norwegian robot, man. Is that what you're pinning your hopes on? That there's some sort of stars aligning, because we call him the meat shield and you're calling him the butcher. Is that how desperate?
Well, listen, it is what it is, man. I think for me, it's one of them situations where there's always that one game where a defender or striker have a horrid time. I just feel like it's one of them games. I remember when Rooney used to have a horrid time against John Terry. Ronaldo, it was Ashley Cole. I'm just trying to create this scenario. I've got this feeling that Martinez is on it. He's an animal. He's South American in him. He's got that kind of bulldog mentality. He's going to have it. He's not going to feel sorry for himself. He's not going to be scared. He's going to take it. So, listen, we know what Haaland's all about. We know what he's got. We know he's scoring goals. But at the same time, he's coming up against, you know what I mean, the butcher. So we'll see, man.
Right.
We'll see.
Listen, me and you've had this argument yesterday. I'm going to ask Luke.
Yeah.
Luke, what's your opinion about this butcher and Haaland? Talk to Saeed about this and tell us what your thoughts are.
I think he had an interesting debut. He got turned over by Graham Potter's Brighton 2-1, and then the butcher was subbed off at half-time 4-0 down to Brentford. So he might
Maguire
have been decent since. Might have been decent since, but he certainly wasn't bringing out his butcher skills in the first couple of games.
No, it was holding on, man. It's like I said, Maguire taxing it. You know what I mean? What Ten Hag did was he got the bad eggs out of there. He said, "You know what, man? We've had enough now. Get Maguire out, get Shaw out." And since then, you know what I mean? We've conceded, I think, is it 2 goals in this back four now? You guys are unbeaten. I understand that, but our defense has been immaculate. Liverpool, Arsenal. These are tough games, and we've come through it. And we only conceded 2 goals in them games when our defense before that conceded 6. So, like I said, man, it's one of them. I like this, though. I like the fact that there's a bit of battles going on. Before, you kind of was like Maguire against this person or this person. But now, at least we've got a few battles in this team now that we can look up to and think, you know what, let's be having it. And this is Haaland's first derby, this first taste of a derby, you know. So how do you know that he might not come in this feeling a bit, you know, kind of not apprehensive, but just kind of like the first one for him? You just don't know.
I've just seen a snippet of an interview he's done today with Gary Neville. And
yeah, I need to watch that.
All I seen was him say, "I'm ready." That is all he had to say. It was like the Terminator. You know when the Terminator's coming for you, innit? And you're running and he's going through walls and he's going to get you and he's going to shoot you. He's coming for you boys on Sunday, mate. I'm telling you now, you don't know what's coming. Me and Luke have watched this guy. He is a monster. He's the new king of Manchester. He's walking down Salford like he don't give a fuck. He's got.
He loves Salford, innit?
blowing in the wind and that. United fans are hanging out of windows shouting, "You should have signed for us." He's like, "No, mate, they love
It's all for the
here.
cameras. I think that was
They love
staged, me.
here."
I think that was
Them
staged.
goals,
I think that was
mate.
staged.
Them goals ain't for the cameras, though. Them goals ain't for the cameras. This guy means business.
Where was he
mate.
going? Where was he going? Where was he actually going? Like, what's he doing in
Listen,
Salford?
he can
Listen,
go wherever
paparazzi
he
guy now,
wants.
isn't it?
He's the new
Thinks his
king of
next top
Manchester
model.
now.
He thinks
He's
his
the
next
new
top
king.
model, mate. You're a striker.
He's
Chill
the
out,
new
man.
king,
You're not.
mate. King of Manchester, innit?
Steve,
There's only one king, and that's Cantona.
Oh, here we go.
There's 100 people in it.
Cantona.
Steve, there's 100 people in here and there's 46 likes. We've got to get them up
Yeah,
a bit.
shocking.
Come on,
Got to
man.
get the
Shocking.
likes
Come on,
up.
people. Come on, get the
100
likes.
people,
up, you know
50
what I mean?
likes. It's got to be improved on that, surely.
Yeah, it
Somebody
will be.
said-
They need to sort it out. They're a bit tight, these people. They must be Saeed followers. They're coming over here, not this guy.
Holding back on the likes. They can't, yeah. This guy in the chat, Jack, he said he'd take a 1-0. I'd take a 1-0. In a derby game, you'd take any win, to be honest, surely. But,
Well, is
Yeah,
that,
that's
you're
what
not
I was gonna
confident,
say.
guys. Come on.
Oh,
I thought you got the
I'm
king.
confident.
I thought you got the king. I thought you got Haaland. What's going on?
A win's
Yeah,
a
I
win,
think we're
isn't it?
confident, mate. I think we're confident. What I want to say is, obviously, United start to the season wasn't great. The first two games, the same old Man United was creeping in. The fans were starting to worry about it. You've got to give credit to Ten Hag. He has turned it around. He has brought a few players in. Big money again, spending big dough. He's got rid of a few of the, I would say, the bad eggs. You know, there was a lot of people, you know, saying, "Oh, Pogba this and Lingard this and that." But at the end of the day, they wasn't doing United any good. He's brought in Eriksen, a player that, you know, we went to Brentford last year, played really, really well, got his move to Man United. He's brought in Anthony, had a good debut. Martinez, he's very aggressive. He seems to be getting the best out of Varane. Obviously, we've seen Varane with Maguire. And listen, I went to England on Monday night, and Harry Maguire, I was fuming in my seat, mate. I was fuming in my seat. Good job England came back. He must have gone in that dressing room after the game and said, "Sorry, lads, you've got me out of shit here." Because that's one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
That's what we feel like all the time, though.
United are going in there with a little bit of confidence. Last season, you said to me at Old Trafford, you know, you fancied it a bit. Didn't happen. Etihad again, the chest. But speaking to United fans this week, I think they are a bit more confident now. I think they think they can go and get something.
No, I think we can, man. You know what it is? You know what I like about these derbies as well? It's not like the North London derby where one team always wins at home. You just never know what happens at home. City haven't been impressive. I think we've got more wins in the Etihad than you guys in the last couple of years. I was there at the 2-1 game. I thought that left back that you had, we absolutely toasted him. I think it's called Angelino. And then before that, I think you could see the first penalty and you didn't look the same since. So I feel like it's one of them situations where if we could compose ourselves, and it's so cliche, but if we don't score, if you guys don't score the first goal in the first 20 minutes, I think then we start to grow some bit of confidence. But I feel like for me, we've been playing better. I know a lot of people say, well, that's not the case, but when you got to measure it against what we were like last year and what we were against the first two games, there's a bit of confidence about us now. We're starting to play out the back a little bit. We're starting to at least try little decent passes. You talked about Eriksen there. He's been a revelation for us. Defense has been a revelation. We're just taking a bit of pride now. I feel like there's a little bit of pride in this Man United shirt, because I feel like sometimes you get in this shirt, you feel like throwing it in their face because you're like, what are you doing? Like, where's the pride of playing for Man United? But I feel like going into this derby, I think Ten Hag will drum it in what it means. Like, he's been talking about it today. Like, he's saying you've got to understand the passion of this game. You've got to understand what it means to the fans. And I feel like Rangnick might not be the perfect person to send that message. You know what I mean? And Ollie, I don't know what happened with that. He should know more than anyone, but I think there's lost confidence with him. But I feel like right now, we're just in a better mindset going into this game. Before it was like, are we, City, the lethal or whatnot. But we've got to believe in our own ability. Like, as much as we care about City and we kind of think about Haaland and this and that, like, we've got to believe in ourselves. Like, we've got to provide something to this game. And I just hope that there's a plan to stop certain players, but just also a plan for the game, man, because I'm excited, man. It's going to, for me, I think this is a derby where a lot of people are sleeping on it thinking, you know what, it's one-sided. I think it will be competitive. I told you yesterday. It's going to be a
big up for Mcfc with the £2 super chat. We sign Haaland, you sign.
Is that the new song, by the way? Is that the new song?
Tune. No, I haven't seen it, but our mate's in the chat as well, Zayn. Zayn Mayasser.
Gosh.
He's over here with his dad's credit card again. Zayn, man, I tell you what, I hate being in your house when the credit card bill comes in, bro. You know what I mean? But no, I get what you're saying.
Energy crisis now.
listening to Ten Hag speak today, he's obviously really saying he gets it. I mean, Luke, from a City point of view, we've got a couple of dilemmas on the pitch. I think the centre-back pairing, does he stick with Akanji or does he stick, or does Nathan Ake come in? We're looking in the midfield three. Do we know what he's going to play? And then we're looking at the front three. I mean, there's people calling for Alvarez to start. There's people saying Mahrez. There's people saying Grealish. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Where do you think City will go? What do you think the lineup will be?
I personally think, I'm not sure as to what Pep will actually predict. No one can really predict it. But personally, I think Akanji, he's done it on the big stage. He's played for Dortmund. He's played in the big games, their big derby matches, and he's done well in them from what I've seen. I think Akanji's got to play for me. Ake, although he's a good player, we know he's a great player, but I just don't think this is really his game. I think Akanji and Diaz, potentially for me, is the way to go. I think in terms of the front three, I want to see Grealish in there. I know he's got it in him to provide. He did it against Wolves, as we said last time we were on here, Big Steve. We said we needed to see Grealish in that game, and he was there from the first minute. So I think Grealish for me has got to play. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I agree with you. Do you know what worries me, though? I'll be honest with you. I think Akanji and Diaz will start. I think that's a solid partnership. I think Grealish, he's had a bit of a rest because he was suspended for England. I'm worried about this Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan in the middle. That's where I'm worried. I think we need to play Bernardo, De Bruyne and Rodri. I think if Gundogan starts in there, I think we're a little bit...
I hate Bernardo, man. I can't stand Bernardo, man. Honestly. You know where it is with him,
From Abaid. Yeah. Let me do this super chat from Abaid. City. Big love to all the panel. Super excited for the game. But please remember, we are one City at the end of the day. No hate needed, just good football. Mcfc lads, enjoy your content, bro. There you go. No, go on, Saeed. Go for it.
Nah, you know what? When you mentioned Bernardo, I hope he's not playing, man, because I feel like for me, it's that he ran the show in the game against Old Trafford. I don't know if you guys remember, but and obviously you probably do remember it, but he ran the show. He's just so, it gets him in little tight spaces. I hated David Silva. That's why the same with, it reminds me of David Silva. Just gets him in them little pockets, makes them tick. And it just gives you that extra edge in terms of, like, you know, the passing, the vision. And I just think it's a very, he's slept on a lot in the Premier League. I don't know if he gets his due.
He loves the goal against United as well, doesn't he?
I know. He loves the goal against United, man. And it's like, oh my God. But, you know, Bernardo, for me, I'm one, hopefully, that he don't play, man. It's one that maybe comes from the bench. But Bernardo, yeah, I'm fearing him, man. Definitely, man.
He's definitely going to play Bernardo. But I'll be honest with you, Luke goes to every game the same as me. City are not quite at full speed yet. I think the Newcastle game shown it, the Palace game shown it. But what I think the difference is that last year we'd have lost that Newcastle game, and last year we'd have lost the Palace game. But I think this season, with this Haaland factor, we know that these teams can get these leads, but they can't defend for 90 minutes because with that guy up front, he's a handful. And honestly, he's unbelievable. I mean, the start he's had to get them goals, it shocked everybody. People know he's a good player. He missed a sitter in the Charity Shield. They said he was a flop. Look what he's done to the Premier League now. But at the end of the day, City now can play in totally different ways than we can last season. And I think United have got it all to do, because I think if United go ahead, you could go 2-0 ahead and you will know in the back of your head that we're still coming, mate, till the end. So you know what I mean? What do you think about that? How do you think United approach the game? Do you think they've got to go there with a bit of balls about them and take risks and go for City? Or do you think he's going to sit back, try and speed it up, get us on the counter-attack?
You know what? As much as we talk about, like, you know, trying to play through City and play this tick-attacker and all that, the 10 hard ball's not arrived yet. It's not fully arrived yet. It'd be naive for me to kind of be like, you know what? Let's go and outplay City, even press them too high up the pitch. I know that sounds crazy, but I think we've got to be conservative. We've got to use our energy wisely. When we need to press, we need to press. And I think we've done that. I think Anthony and Sancho and Rashford have got to be key in pressing. Akanji, for all he's great, first time in a derby, you know what I mean? For your defense has been leaking in goals. I feel like for me, we've got to be conservative. We've got to know when to press. We've got to know when to play our football. But ultimately, we've got to play our football. We can't. I don't want to be sitting down and do what Mourinho did. and do what so many people did. Because at the end of the day, City will have that one chance and they will hurt you. So I'm looking forward to see what Eriksen does in this game. Can he dictate from deep? If Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne go up front, you are going to leave that midfield a little bit exposed. Can we get Eriksen in them pockets? Can we get Bruno in them pocket element? You know what I mean? So for me, I'm as much as City have done well, and I think there's certain situations. I look at the Real Madrid game. I look at Tottenham game at home last season. You were very, very naive in certain areas, and then bang, the counter-attack to you, and it got stuck in there. So I feel like it's going to be an intriguing game as to who loses their discipline, who loses their shape. If Man City get a bit too confident, can we take advantage? Because we do have pace up front. We have got Antony now that a lot of people are not talking about. Antony's going to come in this league. Is it a game for him to kind of shine and make a standpoint? You know, you got Rashford who loves a derby day game at the Etihad. So we have got a little bit of weapons. Sancho scored last season as well. So I feel like it's going to be a situation where, and also Ten Hag outdone Klopp and he outdone Arteta in tactical elements in the game. He knows when to make a substitution. Can he counteract that with Guardiola? It's going to be an interesting battle. It feels like the master versus the apprentice. Obviously, the Guardiola days at Bayern Munich. So, nah, man, it's going to be interesting, man. But one thing that I feel like we're not talking about is when you said in terms of Aki, I think Aki's one of your strongest defenders. Like, I genuinely do. I think he's so underappreciated maybe by the City fan base. I don't know how he is in terms of your fan base, but I think Nathan Aki, man, honestly, maybe him with a Kanji, but then Diaz is playing well as well. So who would you put in that back line? Because I think for me, Nathan Ake's been playing well.
Go on, Luke.
I was just going to say, yeah, Ake for me, his first season, he struggled a bit. He had injuries and stuff. Last season, I think he did actually have a very good season. I know a lot of other fans might not have seen it, but there was some big moments. Arsenal away were 1-1 and he clears one off the line. I think he got one off the line against Burnley. And it just all round, he had some solid performances when Diaz was injured as well. But when you've got Diaz and Akanji, I think Diaz has to be in there for me. He's got to be the first centre-back in there. And then if Ake does play, obviously everyone will back him. I think he'd still be a good option in there. But the way Akanji has started, I think we've just got to have him in there. Because Ake is a great player, but I just think we've got to have Akanji in there.
And it's that counter-attack you've got to deal with as well. The counter-attack for City, you've got to be wary of. Because you had it with, obviously the defence is kind of lacked in with Newcastle and whatnot. It's just that counter-attack. Can City deal with that pace at the back? You know what I mean? Whether Cancelo play, because I think Cancelo's naive in certain areas defensively. So it's whether you guys can deal with that counter-attacks in certain situations as well.
Well, we had it last. I mean, United have got joy with that counter-attack before under Solskjaer. I think we learned our lesson a little bit. Last season, Sancho got a great goal on the break. But then other than that, we kept it quiet. I just think if Kyle Walker and Cancelo just do the basics. Don't get too carried away going forward. Don't try and do this inverted fullback thing and start overlapping in the midfield. I think if we I think patience is the key for City on Sunday. I think there's a lot of people expecting us to start really, really fast like we did last season. But Luke will tell you this season, Man City have been starting very, very slow. The game's changed now. With Haaland, we're not that fast attacking team with a false nine. We're different. So I think Man City have got to be patient. I think Man United won't keep us out all game. I think there's a lot of teams fall into this trap with Haaland. I said it on a stream the other night, I've seen corners come in and 4 men run to the front post with Haaland because they're unsure who's marking him. But I'm really looking forward to it. Us as City fans have got to be confident with the form Haaland's been in. But like you say, the fullback positions for City, Luke, Kyle Walker, Cancelo, where do you think we go with that? There can't be any other combination than that, surely.
Yeah, there can't be. Kyle Walker and Cancelo, they're both rapid. I think they're both good at stopping that counter-attack. We had one situation at Newcastle away, probably the first time ever in his obviously long career at City. Kyle Walker, he got turned over by Joe Willock and he was actually beaten for probably strength and pace. So I wouldn't want to see that again. To be honest, I don't think we will see that again. He's knocking on a bit, but he's not an old man. He's definitely still got the pace. I don't think he's lost much pace at all. And I think Rashford against Kyle Walker or whoever's on that side could be an interesting battle, to be honest. But yeah, Kyle Walker and Cancelo for me have got to be in there.
This is a great point for Luke and Saeed. People I get why, but nobody's talking about KDB. He's going to be the best player on the pitch. Now, this is where I said the catch-22. If Man United try and squeeze us up the park, it leaves a gap in behind where Haaland's got space and legs to run into. It's dangerous. West Ham tried it. They got caught out. But if they let Haaland push their back line deep, it leaves that dangerous channel where Gundogan and Bernardo and or KDB get in that channel and start finding them passes. This is why I've got in my head that Man United might start Casemiro and another DM to block that channel and block them passes through to Haaland. What do you think? What do you think, Saeed?
It's true. You know what it is? I think for me, it's one of the situations where it's kind of crazy because McTominay was, honestly, man, was average last season. I think most fans, they don't see him as a long-term option, but every single time he has a bit of form, I feel like the fan base, they don't change their mind about it, but it's as if like he just keeps carrying on. And now the manager's found a nice solution for McTominay, having that box-to-box role, but also understanding that he's next to Eriksen. He doesn't have to do anything crazy. The problem with Casemiro is he hasn't got to the grips of the Premier League pace. And people don't understand that this Premier League is so quick. It's not even about, sometimes not even about technical ability. It's about whether you can keep up with this league, whether you can keep up with the intensity, whether you're durable. And I feel like Casemiro is getting to grips with that. I think right now, the manager, I don't think he's going to put him in this game. And I know it sounds crazy because then you've got De Bruyne, you've got possibly Gundogan in there. You've got so many people having their third man runs. I just think for me, don't fix what isn't broken. I think we've got a nice little developing partnership with McTominay and Eriksen, and then Bruno in top. I think right there you could do that. If Rashford and Martial weren't playing, then I would have put maybe Eriksen in the false line or Bruno in false line, then put Casemiro in there. But I feel like sometimes you're going to be too defensive, man, and I don't like that for me because I don't want to be sitting there for 90 minutes thinking about whether we're going to concede a goal or not. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So why don't we do something about it? Be a bit more on the front foot and try get in there because De Bruyne will do his finger, will do his damage no matter what. So we've got to be in there. When them transitions come in and when City lose the ball, bang, how quick can we be to get the ball out wide into Sancho, Rashford, Anthony? That's what we've got to do. So it's going to be tricky, man. But I feel like with Casemiro, you can't just throw in someone because it's Casemiro. He's got to be fit and ready. And that's just a simple situation, really.
Big shout out to Obaid again. Dear chat, to the Godfather. They're giving me this name now, the Godfather. I don't know if I'm offended by it or I'm honoured by it. You know what I mean? But I'm getting that name now. But listen, I big up for the super chats and that. I really thank you. Man. I get what you're saying. I mean, Casemiro, he's played in some big games. He's been Champions League winner multiple times with Real Madrid. Not going to phase him a derby. But like you said, are United going to be brave and are they going to save Casemiro? Because if United get the noses in front, I think Casemiro is a kind of player that you can bring on to start breaking the play up and causing City problems near the end. But talking about people you can bring on, I think we've got an ace up our sleeve. I think Alvarez, this season, when we've started to go slow in games and look flat, we've brought this kid on and he's like somebody described him last night as Tevez on speed. And I thought that was great. So I think if you can bring Tevez on speed on 20 minutes,
we got away. Yeah.
But no, what do you think of Alvarez, Luke? Do you think he's our secret weapon or what?
I really do. I think he's a great talent. The way we picked him up for so cheap as well. He's gone under the radar a bit with Haaland. And I just think, if you look at his stats, he has scored quite a few goals this season in limited minutes as well, because Haaland's obviously been on form. And I think we're coming into quite a congested bit of the season now, quite a congested period, just before the World Cup. I think we've got 8 or 9 league games coming up. And I think he's going to get some more minutes. So I don't think he'll start. I think it's obviously got to be Haaland up there for me. But yeah, definitely off the bench. Not that many people have been talking about him, especially the media. No one has spoken much about him, even though he's been so good. And I could definitely see him coming off the bench and sneaking in a goal. And what you were saying a minute ago as well with Casemiro, I personally can't see him starting because he's obviously not played that much for United yet this season. With Casemiro, I think he did get a bit exposed. And I know we obviously got knocked out in that Champions League game. But if you isolate some of the fouls he put in against City, he could have been sent off in both legs, honestly. He was fouling like nobody's business. McTominay as well. That's your other option there. And I think he gets away. He can be quite a dirty player and he does get away with quite a bit. He makes a meal of the times he gets fouled as well. And I think potentially that is a position. We'll see. But that is definitely a position I think that could get exposed for United, that defensive midfielder area. I think De Bruyne and Bernardo running at them, I think they could be in trouble.
You know, you make a good point there. I think for me, it's one of them. Do you go for a Mancunian lad who gets it and gets what a derby is? Or do you go for Casemiro? Listen, I used to hate that Fernandinho because he used to make the most tactical fouls but never get a booking.
Fernandinho was one of the worst for it, but it's got to be done.
Yeah, but it's got to be done. And I feel like maybe this is the kind of game where you get under the teeth of Gundogan, Bernardo and Rodri. You start to rattle them because this Casemiro can rattle you. And we've got a few South American players in there. And I feel like sometimes, you know, they leave one on you and they kind of do it in a discreet way. Maybe, you know what I mean, on the flip side of it, you might need a Casemiro in this game just to spice it up, just to make them feel like, you know what, you're not playing against nobodies. You're kind of coming up against, you know, players that you might not want to make that mistake in, or you might take that risk in there. But just going back to Haaland, man, we were in for him, man. I think Ragnick wanted him, and then all of a sudden City just come out of nowhere and just got him, man. So that was one of them. I always feel like when I watch Alvarez now, I'd be like that player that got away. You know what I mean? Because we were literally that close to signing him, and then City came in 14 million or something. Was it? That's crazy, man. Honestly, man, it's ridiculous.
Great business. The kid looks like I like South American players, because I always feel like they've got a point to prove, and I always feel it's not about the money, it's not about the cars, it's about they come into a different country. They want to go back to. I watched a documentary Fernandinho, and he said, "I'm going back to Brazil after like 19 years, and I can finally look my dad in the eye and tell him I did everything I said I was going to do." And it proper stuck. It stuck in my throat, and I thought, you won't get that now. You know, you get a lot of these young players now. They're driving around in big cars and all that. A lot of them have got a lot of money, but no medals. And then Fernandinho's gone over there. He played in Shakhtar. And then, like Martinez, I like him. He's aggressive. But this Alvarez kid, he just looks like a kid that's come from, you know, a humble background that just wants to play football, score goals, do it in Europe. And that. I've met his family twice on away trips, and they're having the time of their life. They're all walking around these cities, Barcelona. They were in London, and they're following their son around. And I think he's got a great career. He scored again for Argentina the other night. But I think he's got a big season, and I think Haaland is taking the pressure off him.
Yeah, you know what I was going to ask you? Do you reckon he'll be all right being the understudy to Haaland? Do you reckon he'll be all right with that feeling that, you know what?
I think anyone in the world at the minute, other than probably Benzema, is going to be the understudy to Haaland, because that's the way he is. The way he's hit the ground running, there's nobody in the world who's going to say, I should be in front of him with that record. He's doing the business. He's got the move to City. He's gone to the Premier League. What I find fascinating about Haaland is I think his dad and his agent have got a great role to play in his career. The way they've managed him and the way they've not let the hype get to him, and he didn't get the big move. They've moved him from Bern to Molde to Salzburg to Dortmund to Man City. And everywhere he's gone, you look at his goal record, he's hit the ground running, he's getting game time, he's learning. And I don't think that happens now a lot in the modern game. I think once you identify a diamond in a smaller team, that diamond gets picked by a bigger club, and then sometimes it can get swallowed up and disappear. We see it all the time. So big credit to Alfie in that. But yeah, the derby, last season's derby for me, United turned up. They had no identity. They had they didn't have that fire in the belly. City rolled them over and it was easy. But looking at the players now, Varane seems to step up. Martinez, Eriksen, Antony. I definitely think, you know, we want it to be an old-fashioned derby. We want to see some fucking tackles flying in me.
I know, man. Now we've got a different almost Varane now, who looks a different player now, looks a leader now. We've got Dalot who's improved now. We've got this Malacia kid. I don't know if you've watched a bit of this Malacia, but he looks like an animal. He loves to tackle, by the way. He's come in. He's took Luke Shaw out the place. He said bye-bye. He's took his place. Probably not the best going forward, but in terms of like intensity, he's up and down that flank. Very, very intelligent. We've got obviously McTominay, who's a new player. All of a sudden, this season reform. Eriksen's the one as well you got to watch out for. Very, very clever in what he does. You know, I mean, intelligent on the ball. Can make them line breaking passes, similar to what De Bruyne could do. Can play them balls in between the lines, and it's just a devastating ball, because then everybody's like, "Whoa, where's that ball come out of nowhere?" Bruno Fernandez is one that's it's an interesting player. He hasn't been the same as last season as he was the season before.
The best in the world, man. You said he was the best.
Well, listen, on form. You didn't add that bit again. Again, I'm going to get you done, you know, because I said on form at that time. Obviously, right now, it's not looking the best. But he's another one that came against Arsenal and did a few stuff and whatnot. And I think he made an assist for Rashford's goal. Then you've got Sancho, who always wants to make a point. Can he get the best out of Kyle Walker? That'll be an interesting battle for me. He's not the quickest, Sancho, but he's very, very trickery in what he does. And I think for me, Kyle Walker struggles with that a lot. If you're looking at Alexis Saint-Maximin, the way he did him, I know Saint-Maximin is unbelievably quick, but in terms of like dribbling and whatnot, it's very, very difficult to manage. And then you've got Rashford and Anthony, who, with Rashford, right, like it's a funny one, but I feel like the way we're trying to play now, it suits him so much. Playing that counter-attacking style in terms of getting him behind, he's lightning quick. Can Akanji and Diaz deal with that? You know, what I mean, that'll be the question. Can they deal with the players in behind? And obviously, you've got Anthony, who will go up against Cancelo. That'll be an interesting battle as well, because Anthony is very, very trickery. You can get him behind, he's quick. So there's a lot of battles. I feel like for me, when you look at the personnel, last season, we had Lindelof, Maguire, we had Wan-Bissaka, we had Luke Shaw. In the middle, we had McTominay and Fred. And I think we had Pogba and Bruno playing up front because we had no strikers. I think Ronaldo, it must have been when his baby died. I think it was his baby died or something like that. Something happened anyway. And he wasn't available. So we didn't have Ronaldo, we didn't have a striker. At least there's a bit of identity now, a bit of balance in our team. And I feel like that for me is better than playing Pogba and Bruno up front when we had no clue what we were doing that game. So it's an interesting battle, man.
I'm gonna ask Luke, where do you think, who do you think United's danger man is? As a City fan, you're looking at their team now. If there's anyone that's going to cause us problems, who do you think it is, or where do you think it is on the pitch?
I think United's midfield has not really challenged City the last couple of games. That's where we kind of bossed them a bit. As you said earlier, they were like 11 cones when we played them last time. But I think Eriksen, he's been a decent signing for them. I think he could definitely do a job for them. I hope he doesn't, but I think he's going to be a dangerous player. Ronaldo, for me, if he plays or if he doesn't, I don't think he's anywhere near it. I think
he's past it, man.
He put in a really cowardly challenge on De Bruyne at Old Trafford. Like just after he'd come back from the Euros, De Bruyne, it was like a couple of months after he'd had a bad injury. Ronaldo slid right through the back of him, got a yellow for it. And danger men on the wide, this guy in the chat said. Sancho and Anthony.
Yeah, New York City. That's to me, in my opinion, that's where I see the problem. I think we've got more than enough in the middle of the park. I just think if Kyle Walker or Cancelo get a little bit caught in no man's land and we make a short pass or a mistake, and someone like Eriksen can get that ball and put the ball in behind for Sancho or Anthony, I think that's where they can do the damage. So I'm going to reverse the question to you, Saeed. Obviously, take your butcher apron off and let me know where you think, or where you think either which player is going to hurt you the most, or what area on the park you think City will have the most success.
Obviously, there's only one man to start with, and that's obviously Erling Haaland. You know the crazy thing about Erling Haaland is how many touches has this guy actually got? Like, he's not had many touches on the ball, but it just seems to me that he's just scoring goals for fun. Like, for me, what's scary about Haaland is his movement, especially the goal against Nottingham Forest. I don't know if you've seen the header, but nobody's seen him coming. He just went around the players and just kind of almost like, and then obviously the goal in the Champions League was just ridiculous. That man, obviously, how can we keep him quiet? This is the big question. Do we double up on him? Do we get McTominay to get him behind him and put one in him? Or do we get Varane? Because Varane, I don't know if you guys see it, but Varane's aerial ability is unbelievable. Like, even last season, like, I think he won like the most aerial duels, or one of the most aerial duels in the league. So that's one to watch out for. Obviously, Haaland's got an unbelievable leap, but I'll say in that kind of matchup, who gets the better out of them in that one? Obviously, De Bruyne, man. Listen, what can he say about De Bruyne, man? He's just unreal, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think he gets the level of respect. When you talk about Premier League and midfielders in past and present, he's got to be up there, man. One thing that I've noticed, I don't know if you know, is an interesting stat, but in on the right wing, 16% of his of his players come from the right hand side. It's I don't know if it's a new kind of tactic, but the amount of goals that have happened because De Bruyne has whipped that ball in from the right hand side, and then obviously Grealish or whoever's or Haaland's on the end of that. We've got to stop that. We've got to make sure Malacia is on point. Got to make sure Malacia is tucked in. Our defense is tucked in, and I think for me, I'm gonna have to say Rodri as well. I don't know why another one that for me doesn't get talked about enough. The way he gets the ball, receives the ball from the defense, and it's almost like he's a Busquets, he's a Carrick, he's a Xavi. He's all one in one. He can defend and he can distribute and pass. He's another one that we've got to stop the supply line. Who can get on him? Can Bruno get on him? Can someone else get on him? We have to see with that one. But yeah, man, I think for me, there's all dangers at Man City, but we've got to make sure that we're on point and we just have an immaculate game. City have got to have a very, very off day. I know there's a lot of chances for that not to happen, but they've got to have an off day. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Can City manage with our threat as well? You know what I mean? Not only can Man United counter-attack, but they have got some players who can play football. So it's going to be interesting, 1v1 battles, who gets on top, especially in that first 30 minutes. It's going to be carnage. Steve's going to be shouting from the rooftop, this and that. You know, it's going to be madness, man. United fans are going to be out here with the cities. Honestly, man. And obviously, the referee needs to be on point, man. I don't want to make this referee shout, but he needs to not make it all about himself. I know this. I don't know if you know Michael Oliver, but he loves to make it all about himself. So, Michael Oliver, just let the game be the game. Don't make silly fouls and silly, you know what I mean? Don't get your whistle out all the time and call play. Don't you hate it when they start calling players in? Just get on with the game. Like, why do you need to get the players in and talk to them, man? Just let the players enjoy the game and let it be a spectacle.
Yeah, I hope it's a great game of football. Like you say, we don't want a stupid VAR decision or the referee to want to get a bit of the limelight. I get what you're saying about Rodri. He is very underrated. Me and Luke's watched him for a couple of years now. He is fantastic. There's just one player I want to touch on for you, Saeed. Ronaldo. Obviously, he came in last year. You were swinging in the car park. You were swinging off the lampshades. The legend was back. You know, Viva Ronaldo. City wanted him. All that bullshit he came out with last year. The poor guy there.
I got the voice notes. I got the voice notes.
He can't even get there, mate. He can't even get a game and that. But would this be a master move for Ten Hag if we saw Ronaldo starting?
Honestly, it surprised me massively. Honestly, like, it's getting to the point now where even if Ronaldo was fit, I wouldn't even start him ahead of a non-striker. You got to understand football shape.
You killed your legend, didn't it? You're the legend.
No, man, I'm not killed it. I have to be honest. Nah, I've not killed no legend, man. Time is up, man. He's an old man. He's nearly as old as you, Steve, man. You know what I mean? He's catching up to you. He's catching up to you.
United were back, man. United were back. Ronaldo was coming home. Remember that? Ronaldo was coming home. Not the 500 grand a week. He was coming home for the love of Man United. The protests were finished. The souvenir shop was open. The printing machine was going 10 to the dozen. The Man United lampshades were back out. It was fucking all. It was rosy in the camp. But now, sat on the bench.
Sat on the bench, man. And he's... go on.
With Ronaldo, I just got to say, he's got more red cards at the Etihad than goals. So take that how you want, but I don't think he's a man. He scored. That's
crazy, that, you know.
With his hand, the straight red with a handball, and he also put in a really bad challenge. But also, I'm looking at this here, 140 likes, and there's over 230 people in the chat. So the fact that not all them, United fans, City fans, whoever you are, you've got to get the likes.
Get
that to 200.
United fans, like the video, man. Like the video. Even though the Blues, man, like the video, United fans, man. But you know what it is, though? With Ronaldo, it's just one of them situations where every legend has their time, innit? It's one of them, like, you know, I don't know if you've seen them against Portugal, but this guy couldn't run. He couldn't hold up the ball. He couldn't do anything, man. Look, what's this guy saying here? Zebra pants. Listen, I've never seen any zebra pants anymore.
Oh my God. Ronaldo was back.
Honestly, man.
Hey, them zebra pants. You've got a pair of them zebra pants, innit?
No, there's not. I ain't got none of them zebra. What was that guy thinking of that day, man? Honestly, man. These United fans, man.
I don't know. And remember the guy with the Only Fools and Horses jacket on as well? The old donkey jacket. He was there. Oh, mate.
Oh, man. It's, you know what, man? Like I said, man, even when United, when we're doing bad, man, it's always something to laugh about. But with Ronaldo, I just feel like it's one of the situations where you can't put him in this intensity derby, man. He's going to get bullied around. even a Kanji will put one on him and he'll just try and push him over. It's not, there's no impact. And you know what? I'm not going to disrespect him in terms of goals. Unbelievable. It speaks for himself. He's one of the GOATs of the game, but at the same time, it has no relevance for this game because it's not able to do what his body tells him to do. Like, your mind might be telling you.
Why didn't they let him go, Pre? Even on a free transfer, why didn't they let him go?
Because United didn't want to be in a position where they sold him to a rival, and I think Todd Bowley wanted him, hence why Tuchel is sacked. And also, I think United are they want to keep on to that commercial, revenue that comes from him. Ronaldo is like, honestly, when I go to Old Trafford now and I'm like, yo, what are you, United fan? No, I've just come to see Ronaldo. Like some fans are just there to see Ronaldo. And that listen, mate, the amount of people, that are losing their season tickets now because they're selling them on, and then Man United have found it out now. They're banning people because they're saying, no, you've got to make sure that these guys buy it from us, and they want to make sure the revenue goes up. So you got to realize the mega store's always full. Ronaldo t-shirts everywhere. Even the guy that's selling t-shirts on the street, he's making money now because Ronaldo's selling and it's a sale. So why not keep on to that while we're doing rubbish now? We're not winning a trophy. Why not hold on to some money? And that's why fans want the Glazers out, because they're not asked about the club; they're asked about themselves and their pockets. So Ronaldo in this derby it's a good asset to come off the bench. Imagine it's 1-1 and you've got Ronaldo coming off the bench and you're a Kanji thinking, flipping out, one little bit of movement and you're done. So it's not a bad option coming off the bench, and it's just one of them situations where his body can't live up to what we as fans want. So that's why I want to start him.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Big up my G's in the chat, big City fan. Right then, boys. Luke, I'm going to ask you your prediction for the game. Obviously, predictions are a bit, sometimes I like giving them, sometimes I don't. You don't have to give me a score if you don't need to, but, do you think it's Man City, we're going to go for it, we're going to win it, no problem, or do you expect it to be a draw, or do you expect it to be a tough game, or what, or do you think Pep's got this in the bag, City are better than them all over the field, and we're just going to get the job done?
Yeah, I think, as I said before, I think City, I'm confident I'd take a 1-0 win, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'd take any win in this kind of game. But I think we're going to outclass them, to be honest. I think we've got a better team. To be honest, I think we will win. I'd say 3-0, 3-1. I can see us just scoring quite a few goals. I just don't see a possibility of Haaland not scoring. I don't see a possibility of De Bruyne not scoring. And I don't see a possibility of the Butcher not being embarrassed, to be honest, Steve.
We're going to clip this. I'm going to clip this.
He may have this physical, presence in that. But when I read before Harry Maguire was out of the game, he gets laughed, he gets mocked, he gets sort of scapegoated a bit. I think this might have been a game in which he could have done something for United. Harry Maguire, he's a physical guy at the end of the day. They call him Slabhead, don't they? He's good with them headers. He's good at defending.
I think Luke's second.
Are you Maguire's agent? Are you Maguire's agent? I know he is. Are you Maguire's agent there? Are you his undercover agent?
I genuinely think he'd have done a better job at defending Erling Haaland than
Listen, mate, you worry about Akanji, because I tell you what, man, this ain't the German league, innit? This might be the welcome to the Premier League moment here for Akanji.
It's not the Eredivisie either. That's why.
It's not the Dutch. It's not the Dutch Farmers League.
I'd rather watch that Dutch league. I'd rather watch that Dutch league where there's a different title winner every year than that Dortmund league where he's been bottling it every season, mate. I've seen his defense crumble. That Akanji's crumbled in that Dortmund defense year on, year out, mate. Are you sure about this defender here?
Didn't crumble the other night against Spain. He got a goal and an assist, mate, and they won.
Who did you play?
So Switzerland played Spain. They beat Spain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And got an assist, man.
Nah, fair play, man. Fair play. But
so come on then, Saeed, give us all a laugh, man. Give the City fans a laugh. This is the City channel. We want to know how you're going to do on Sunday. Tell us all about what's going to happen.
Hat-trick, is it, Saeed? Is that what
the Butcher, the Butcher's going to pocket Haaland. This is what's going to happen. Nah, I'm only joking. What's going to happen is...
Tell us. We get it on clip, man. We got it on clip. Go on.
Nah, listen. I think for me, it's going to be a close score line. I think it's going to be... I'm going to go for a draw, me. I've stick my neck on the line here. I think it's going to be a 2-2. I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw. I think it's going to be a competitive game. It's not going to be one of them games where we get rolled over. I genuinely believe that.
I've never known a man in the last 2 days give it so much chest and bollocks, and then at the end of it say it's going to be a draw. The United fan base we want the confidence of looking at you as the man. Saeed, give us some hope, bro. As he froze. He's frozen. So he's turned his camera off at that
What's
point.
that? What's that? What? Say that again.
He froze.
Say that again. Say that again.
The United fan base are looking for you as inspiration. They want to hear you say you're going to go there.
Nah. 268 people watching. What have you got to say from a draw?
No. Listen. Yeah, there's optimistic and you got to be realistic. You know what I mean? This is a game where I think we can get a draw. I don't think we're gonna win because I think it's too premature in what we're trying to do. But I think a draw is a reasonable result. If we could get a draw and stop, you know what I mean, City and this Haaland and this greatest striker ever, probably, and the king of Manchester, then that's what we've come to do. So get a draw, get back, go to Everton next week, and then we go from there, man. So I just don't think we'll have enough to beat you guys, to stop you guys. You know what I mean? I think you guys are too much. So 2-2 for me. I'm taking it all day long, man. So, yeah.
Listen, people, I said I think it'll be 3-1 City. I think it'll be 2-1 late. I think Alvarez comes off the bench and scores. I'm looking forward to a great derby, an aggressive derby. I don't think Man City's hit the ground running yet. I think we're still adjusting to Haaland. Haaland's still adjusting to us. I think we've got to be mindful of Man United on the counter-attack. I do think Sancho, Antony, with Eriksen in there, does pose a threat. I do think that Fernandez is one that we can target to wind up. I do think if Grealish goes up against Dalot, that could end up with Dalot losing his head against Grealish. Martinez might get screwed up in a little ball and bounced about off the big Viking meat shield. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's so many different scenarios in the game. I just think we've just got to hope for a proper derby. And, you've not turned up last few derbies. It's been a bit shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teams like Nottingham Forest and that have put up a better fight than United.
Well, are you sure? Nottingham Forest, how much did you beat them? How much you beat them?
That's what I'm saying.
And also, we've got a better record than you guys at the Etihad in the last couple of years. So, I don't know, man. Just hold your horses, man. You get me? Last season,
Steve, one of those wins they hype up was a Carabao Cup win that they actually lost both legs of. So
yeah, they did.
I mean,
they did.
No. I'm not talking about that one. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one in 2019, the one in 2020. Listen, man, we did it at your ground and we silenced you. So I love it. I love it. You know what, man? It'd be unbelievable to get a win at the Etihad because I feel like it'd be so good to see these Blues around Manchester, around Rusholme. Quiet, man. It goes so good to see Steve the next day miserable and sad that they've lost on Derby. It'd be so unbelievable. Honestly, man, I can't wait, man. It's going to be a good one, man. I'm enjoying it. Obviously, you guys are going to be at the game. I couldn't get a ticket, unfortunately, man. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one.
Listen, people, we're 50 minutes in. I think we've said all we need to say. Me and Luke are going to the game. Please check out Luke's channel at MCFC Lads. I say it every week. Nice. The best match day vlogs about. Absolutely great entertainment. If you can't get to the games and you want to know the feeling of the game, watch his vlogs. Saeed, my brother from the Big Six, we've had some great ding-dongs, arguments, but everybody knows how much I love the guy. And
Come on, man.
You need to go over to his channel and check out the Derby Day preview that me and him did at the Etihad. It's just not scripted, no bullshit, just me and him walking around, two Mancunians. And listen, people, please hit the like button. Please share this video. Leave some comments. I am getting more and more content out there for people. I am trying my best. And listen, people, have a great weekend. May the best team win.
The city is ours. The city is ours. 20,000 empty seats. The city is ours.
Blue.
The city is.
Peace, people.
Go on, United. We're having it. The butcher's coming.
Haaland,
the butcher.